Back in the 1990s, some cars looked plain and boring, but could smoke anything at a stoplight. Today, we're counting down 15 of the most legendary sleeper cars from that wild decade. Number 15, 1992, GMC Typhoon. When people talk about fast machines from the early 1990s, they usually name sports cars, like the Corvette or the Ferrari. But then comes the twist, because in 1992, a sport utility vehicle showed up that could keep up with those legends. It was called the GMC Typhoon, and it shocked the world by proving that even something tall and boxy could move like a bullet on wheels. The Typhoon carried a look that demanded attention the moment it rolled past. Wide fender flares stretched out to cover huge 245-section Firestone tires. 16-inch alloy wheels gleamed beneath the body, while a sharp front air dam with fog lamps made the SUV look aggressive even when parked. From certain angles, it almost seemed ready to crouch and spring forward, unlike any other truck of its time. Stepping inside the Typhoon revealed an interior filled with black leather from top to bottom. The sculpted seats wrapped around the driver and passengers like a sports car. The thick four-spoke steering wheel sat firmly in place. The dashboard carried a serious style, and the cabin felt like a command center built for speed. Every detail matched the outside attitude. Of course, the true excitement came from the power. Under the Typhoon's square frame lived a turbocharged and intercooled 260 cubic inch V6 engine. With the help of its turbo, this motor delivered 280 horsepower and an incredible 350 pound-feet of torque. The force traveled through a 4-speed automatic transmission into a smart all-wheel drive system that split power 35% to the front wheels and 65% to the rear wheels. That recipe was the secret to launches that stunned drivers everywhere. Testers found that if you pressed the brake with the left foot, held the gas with the right foot, and waited for the boost gauge to swing, the Typhoon would leap forward with unbelievable energy. From 0 to 60 miles per hour, it needed only 5.3 seconds. The quarter mile passed in just 14.1 seconds at 95 miles per hour. These numbers belong to sports cars, not to SUVs, and that made the Typhoon legendary. Braking power matched the speed, bringing the vehicle down from 70 miles per hour in 185 feet. Even the cornering grip surprised people with a reading of 0.79 G, enough to let the Typhoon sweep through turns without losing confidence. The GMC Typhoon was more than fast for an SUV. It was outrageous, unforgettable, and fearless. Number 14, 1990 Mercury Cougar XR7. Some cars were built to surprise everyone, and the 1990 Mercury Cougar XR7 is proof of that. Only 841 units ever came out, making it a rare champion that mixed strength, brains, and style in ways few others dared. It was not just a car to drive from place to place, it was built to take on rivals and show them what true performance felt like. The Cougar XR7 carried a shape that looked refined, yet every line carried purpose. A wide stance gave it confidence, while the design held just enough flash to make sure nobody forgot it. This was not a machine hiding in the background. It demanded to be noticed and respected. Then came the real surprise: power. The Cougar XR7 carried a supercharged V6 engine that sent out 210 horsepower and 315 pound-feet of torque. Numbers like that meant speed, but also the kind of strength that pushed you back in the seat as soon as the accelerator was pressed. Unlike many cars of its time, this one was balanced with a fully independent suspension and 4-wheel disc brakes, plus anti-lock control. That combination gave the Cougar both the muscle to move and the precision to stop or corner with absolute confidence. Drivers had choices too. For those who loved to row through gears themselves, a 5-speed manual transmission was ready. For others who preferred smooth and steady progress, there was a 4-speed automatic transmission. Either way, the car delivered its strength in a way that felt controlled, steady, and powerful. Technology made the Cougar even more legendary. Its automatic adjustable suspension lets drivers pick firm mode for sharper cornering or auto mode for smoother comfort. Even better, the system's computer could make its own adjustments in real time, tightening things up in turns or when carrying a heavy load. It felt like the car could read the road and react instantly, something far ahead of its era. The magic of this car went even deeper. Its supercharger worked with an intercooler to keep the engine cool and efficient, making sure the power stayed strong without overheating. The rear-wheel drive layout, tied together with that independent suspension, meant the car could handle spirited driving without losing control. Few sedans of the early 1990s could claim this mix of comfort, precision, and raw strength. Even with all these talents, the Cougar XR7 stayed rare. Only a select few drivers ever experienced what it could truly do. Number 13, 1993, Lincoln Mark VIII. The Lincoln Mark VIII arrived in the 1990s with one goal: to show the world that strength and elegance could share the same stage. While many cars chose either comfort or raw power, this machine proudly delivered both at once, proving that a luxury coupe could also carry the soul of a true performer. At the heart of this masterpiece sat a 281 cubic inch V8 engine. With 290 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, it was no gentle cruiser. A 4-speed automatic transmission made sure all that energy reached the rear wheels, which gave drivers the classic performance feel that muscle fans admired. From 0 to 60 miles per hour, the Mark VIII launched forward in 7.4 seconds, and with its powerful stride, it could keep going until 151 miles per hour appeared on the speedometer. For a car that looked refined, it could run with the boldest. But the story of the Mark VIII was not only about speed in a straight line. Its fully independent suspension on all 4 corners turned every trip into a smooth performance, balancing control and comfort with precision. Then Lincoln added brilliance with a computer-controlled air suspension. At higher speeds, the system lowered the ride height, improving aerodynamics and creating extra stability. That meant whether gliding along a highway or bending through a winding road, the Mark VIII always carried itself with confidence. Let's not forget to mention its appearance. The long hood, flowing roofline, and aerodynamic body made it look like it was in motion even when standing still. Step inside and the luxury continued. Leather seats wrapped around passengers, power adjustments placed comfort at a fingertip, and automatic climate control kept the cabin just right. A premium sound system filled the space with music, and a power moonroof added the open-air feeling of freedom. It was not just driving, it was traveling in style. On top of that, safety came with the same level of care. 4-wheel anti-lock disc brakes were standard, while front and rear crumple zones absorbed impact forces. Heavy-gauge steel beams inside the doors added extra protection from the side, and airbags stood ready as an invisible shield. Lincoln designed the Mark VIII to be strong not only in performance, but also in keeping its passengers safe. Number 12, 1999, Ford Taurus SHO. The year was 1999, and Ford brought something wild to the streets. It was the Ford Taurus SHO, and it was not just any family car rolling out of the factory. Only 3,300 of these cars were ever made, which already makes it feel like a treasure. People who knew cars stopped and stared, because the SHO was a sedan with a secret personality that made it unforgettable. The earlier Taurus models were boxy, sharp, and serious. But when this third generation came out between 1996 and 1997-99, it looked different. Its body was rounder and smoother, and while some said it was not the most handsome machine out there, that look gave it a kind of trickster charm. It could pass right by, and most drivers would think, oh, just another Taurus. Then, once they found out what it could really do, their jaws would drop. Ford sprinkled in little touches that made this SHO special. The alloy wheels sparkled more than regular ones. The bumpers were shaped for a sportier look. The seats hugged the driver tighter. Even the windshield wiper on the driver's side had its own tiny wind deflector, so it stayed put when the car was flying at fast speeds. Details like that proved this was not built to be boring. And then came the most thrilling part, the engine. This was the only time in Taurus SHO history when a mighty V8 was placed inside. It was not a small motor trying its best. It was a 235 horsepower beast created with Yamaha's help, roaring louder than anything in the neighborhood. Drivers who stepped on the gas felt the car leap forward, and the world around them blurred in a rush of speed. Number 11, 1995, Ford Thunderbird SC. Power and rarity came together in 1995 when Ford released the Thunderbird SC, a machine built with strength and technology that made it stand out from everything else on the road. Only 574 units were made, which turned it instantly into a rare treasure for drivers who wanted both muscle and refinement wrapped into one. The Thunderbird SC was not a car built only to look good sitting still. Its performance came from a supercharged V6 engine that packed a serious punch. This motor carried an Eaton M90 Roots-type supercharger and larger fuel injectors, letting it roar with 230 horsepower and 130 pound-feet of torque. That meant the Thunderbird could surge forward with force that surprised anyone who thought it was just another calm cruiser. Drivers who loved involvement could pick a 5-speed manual transmission, while others could enjoy the smooth 4-speed automatic. Either way, the power was always ready. Handling set the Thunderbird SC apart in ways most people did not expect. While many cars in its time still used solid rear axles, this one carried a fully independent rear suspension. That system gave it a smooth ride on rough pavement, but also allowed it to grip corners like a true sports machine. Combining strength and comfort in the same package made the Thunderbird SC feel far ahead of its era. The design carried its own mix of character. The front end wore slim, horizontal headlights that gave it a low and serious appearance. A wide grille with an air intake helped feed the supercharged engine with the cool air it needed. From the side, the car looked long and low, giving the impression it was ready to stretch its legs at any moment. Inside, the sports seats with their high bolsters held the driver in place during spirited runs, while the rest of the cabin kept a clean and purposeful feel. It was built to perform first and impress second, and that was exactly what gave it personality. Even though the Thunderbird SC had incredible ability, it faced struggles. Its weight came in higher than Ford wanted, and building it was costly. Internal debates held it back, and without the right support, it became an outsider in the Thunderbird family. Still, numbers do not lie. 230 horsepower, 330 pound-feet of torque, independent suspension, and rare production make this machine extremely legendary. Number 10, 1993, Oldsmobile Achieva SCX. In the early 1990s, Oldsmobile decided to surprise the world with a compact car that carried the soul of a true performance machine. That creation was the 1993 Oldsmobile Achieva SCX, and only 500 of them were ever built. With numbers that small, it instantly became one of the collectible cars of its era, a machine designed to stand out in ways no one expected. The Achieva SCX earned respect through its performance. Under its frame sat a specially tuned engine that delivered between 120 horsepower and 160 horsepower, depending on setup. For a compact car, that meant serious excitement. From 0 to 60 miles per hour, it could move in about 8.5 to 10 seconds, quick enough to surprise anyone who underestimated it. Push it further, and the top speed climbed all the way to 120 miles per hour, proving it was more than capable of thrilling drives. Moreover, transmission choices added to the fun. Drivers could enjoy the challenge of a 5-speed manual gearbox, shifting through gears with precision, or they could choose a 3-speed automatic for smooth and easy cruising. Combined with its front-wheel drive layout, the car stayed predictable and controlled, even when pressed hard. This balance made the SCX both exciting and practical, a rare blend in its time. The exterior design carried just enough character to separate it from the crowd. Sportier bumpers at the front and rear gave it confidence, while side cladding along the body added muscle without going overboard. It was not dressed in wild spoilers or flashy add-ons, yet its stance and proportions revealed a car that meant business. Those who looked closer could tell this was no ordinary compact. Inside, the Achieva SCX delivered comfort along with its speed. Durable fabric seats came standard, but leather was also available for those who wanted an upscale touch. An optional sunroof opened the cabin to fresh air, while the straightforward dashboard kept everything simple and easy to use. Beyond this, safety and technology added another layer to its greatness. Few compact cars of the early 1990s could claim optional anti-lock braking systems across all trims, but the SCX offered exactly that. With ABS brakes available, the Achieva gained an edge in control that many of its competitors lacked. Number 9, 1994, Buick Roadmaster Estate Wagon. In the mid-1990s, one car carried the spirit of American power in the most unexpected shape. It was long, wide, and dressed with wood panels along its sides. Yet beneath its family-friendly look, it roared with the strength of a true performance machine. Buick Roadmaster Estate Wagon came with a 350 cubic inch V8, the very same type of engine that also lived in the Chevrolet Corvette of the time. It produced 260 horsepower, along with 300 pound-feet of torque, numbers that gave this wagon the strength to move like a muscle car. Paired with a 4-speed automatic transmission, it sent energy to the rear wheels, and with enough space for an entire family, it could still accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 7 seconds. For a full-size wagon weighing well over 2 tons, that was nothing short of astonishing. The Buick Roadmaster State Wagon was not only about straight-line speed, it offered smooth handling for highways and confident control when the road began to twist. Drivers who wanted extra capability could choose a towing setup, which included special gearing, stronger cooling, and even air shocks to keep the car level. With those upgrades, it could pull heavy loads with ease while still delivering comfort inside. Style was another part of its charm. The long roofline stretched proudly, while the wood trim gave it a classic look that reminded everyone of the golden age of wagons. The wide grille and bold stance made it impossible to mistake for anything else. Step inside, and the story grew even better. Power leather seats wrapped passengers in comfort. Windows and locks moved with a button's touch, and an optional sunroof opened the sky above. There was room for a third row, meaning the wagon could carry more people than most performance cars of its time. Music flowed from the radio, climate controls kept the air perfect, and cruise control made long journeys relaxing. And while passengers enjoyed comfort, the driver knew that under their right foot was Corvette-inspired strength waiting to roar. The 1994 Buick Roadmaster Estate Wagon. One moment it was carrying groceries, and the next it was leaving black stripes of rubber across the pavement. Number 8, 1994 Chrysler LHS. When the Chrysler LHS rolled onto the streets in 1994, it was clear this car was not here to blend in. It was here to stand out. The front grille, painted the same color as the body, gave the car a smooth, strong face. Some even said it carried a touch of Bugatti spirit from the 1930s, which made it feel timeless and daring at once. The LHS's interior showed why it was Chrysler's top machine. The cabin felt open and wide, with so much legroom that even someone taller than 6 feet could sit in the back and still have inches to spare. Large doors made climbing in and out simple, and once seated, soft leather wrapped around you with comfort that felt fit for royalty. The dashboard stretched across with a strip that looked like polished wood, bringing a touch of warmth to the bold design. Storage was everywhere. Pockets in the doors, a deep console with flip-out cup holders, and a trunk big enough to swallow luggage with ease. Now, let's talk about power, because the left-hand side delivered it in style. A 213 cubic inch V6 engine pumped out 214 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque. That meant a quick response every time you pressed the pedal, with smooth force in the low and middle ranges that made the car feel lively and eager. Paired with an automatic transmission and front-wheel drive, the LHS pushed forward with confidence, making passing on the highway or darting through traffic feel effortless. But this Chrysler was not only about speed, it balanced power with grace. The suspension system soaked up bumps in the road, keeping rides calm and steady, yet it still held firm when the car swept through fast curves. Drivers often found themselves moving through corners 10 to 15 miles per hour faster than they realized, because the LHS made it feel so controlled. Steering tightened up with speed, always giving just the right amount of effort without ever feeling heavy. Even safety came fully built in, with dual airbags, strong seatbelts that adjusted to height, and traction control to keep things stable. Rear passengers even enjoyed their own air vents, showing how much thought went into every detail. Number 7, 1992 Dodge Spirit RT. The Dodge Spirit RT earned a reputation as one of the fastest sedans of its time. At first glance, it appeared simple, but the moment it roared to life, everyone nearby knew they were seeing something special. What set this car apart was its Turbo 3 engine, a 4-cylinder masterpiece with advanced technology that made it stand tall among the legends. It carried 135 cubic inches of pure power, boosted by a turbocharger, twin balance shafts, and double overhead cams. The result was a forceful 224 horsepower that made the Spirit RT an unstoppable performer. The speed was the kind that caught people off guard. From a complete stop, this sedan could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in only 5.8 seconds, a number that placed it ahead of cars like the BMW M5 and even the Nissan 300ZX Turbo of the same era. Once it picked up momentum, It could reach a top speed of 142 miles per hour, an astonishing figure for a car that looked so modest at rest. Above all, the magic of the Spirit RT was not just about raw acceleration. It was about how it carried that speed with confidence. Even though it weighed over 3,000 pounds, it never struggled to deliver thrilling bursts of power. Drivers could shift through gears with precision, and the rush of the turbocharger made each acceleration feel like a celebration. The balance between family car looks and race car strength made this sedan one of the most memorable sleepers in history. There was also a difference depending on where you found this machine. In America, the Spirit RT often appeared in bold shades like red, white, or silver. Yet in Mexico, the same car arrived under the Chrysler name with more choices. There, it could be ordered with leather seats, larger wheels, a sunroof, and colors beyond the few offered in the United States. That gave it an even sharper personality, showing how flexible and exciting the Spirit RT could be for those lucky enough to experience it. When the Dodge Spirit RT blasted down a road, it secured its place as one of the most legendary sedans ever created. Number 6, 1995 Buick Riviera Supercharged. The 1995 Buick Riviera Supercharged blended bold curves with forceful power in a way that made it stand out everywhere it went. This was not just another two-door luxury car, it was Buick proving it could deliver strength and style at the same time. The first thing that caught everyone's eye was the design. The body was round and flowing, almost like it had been sculpted by the wind itself. From the front, the nose stretched forward with a smooth taper, while the back tucked neatly around a wide tail light bar. The side view carried a long roof line and cab-forward stance, giving it a modern look unlike anything else in American driveways of the time. With almost no flat surfaces and very little chrome, it appeared futuristic, and the more you looked at it, the more details you discovered. Step inside, and the adventure continues. The interior was spacious and comfortable, with soft leather seats shaped to keep long trips relaxing. The dashboard carried a bold theme of circles, with round gauges, round vents, and round clusters. Every control was easy to reach, and the wide cabin gave both front and rear passengers plenty of room to stretch. Climate controls kept the air just right, while the sound system filled the car with music, turning every ride into an experience. But the true magic lived in the powertrain. Sitting inside this Buick was a 232 cubic inch V6 with a supercharger, producing 225 horsepower. That kind of force pushed the Riviera from 0 to 60 miles per hour in only 7.2 seconds, and it could keep charging through the quarter mile in 15.6 seconds. Numbers like that placed it right alongside cars that carried much larger V8 engines. With power flowing through a 4-speed automatic transmission and handled by front-wheel drive, it delivered smooth yet commanding performance every time the driver pressed down on the pedal. The suspension setup gave it balance. Struts up front and semi-trailing arms with coil springs in the back kept the car steady, while computer-assisted steering adjusted its effort with speed. Body roll stayed low, the ride felt calm, and even on broken pavement, the Riviera remained solid. Number 5, 1997 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP. In 1997, the Grand Prix GTP came with bold looks, a wide track stance, and a presence that shouted strength. The twin-kidney grille up front gave it instant identity, while smooth body lines and a sporty spoiler tied it together. It was available as both a sedan and a coupe, so drivers could choose their favorite style. But either way, the car looked ready for action. Further, the driver was treated to leather bucket seats with power adjustments, a dash filled with useful gauges, and even a head-up display that floated speed and radio info right in front of the windshield. Radio controls sat right on the steering wheel, letting the driver stay focused while still enjoying music. The space was comfortable enough for daily rides, yet exciting enough to match the car's high-energy spirit. What made the GTP legendary was its power. Pontiac gave it the famous 232 cubic inch Series 2 V6 engine, and then added a supercharger. That pushed horsepower to 240, with torque strong enough to make every press of the pedal feel instant. The car could rush from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds, beating many rivals of the time. The acceleration stayed strong well beyond normal speeds, making highway runs effortless. Handling was also tuned for fun. With McPherson struts in the front and an independent rear suspension, The GTP managed smooth comfort, but could still sweep through corners with confidence. Standard anti-lock brakes with 10.9-inch discs at each wheel gave reliable stopping power, while the steering used MagnaSteer technology to adjust feel with speed. Push too hard and it understeered like most front-wheel drive cars, but it always felt stable and safe. From its wide stance to its booming supercharged power, the 1997 Pontiac Grand Prix GTP proved that performance sedans could be both thrilling and practical. Number 4. 1996 Chevrolet Impala SS. Muscle cars in the 90s had plenty of personalities, but the Chevrolet Impala SS stood apart by keeping its power wrapped in a calm disguise. It did not need bright stripes or loud shapes to earn respect, because the moment it started moving, the message was clear. This was a full-size sedan, built with the heart of a true performance machine, and it made every driver feel like they were piloting something unstoppable. At the center of its greatness was a Corvette-inspired engine, measuring 348 cubic inches. That strong V8 produced 260 horsepower, along with 330 pound-feet of torque, a pairing that gave the Impala SS muscle to spare. A 4-speed automatic transmission sent the energy to the rear wheels, creating the perfect mix of smooth shifts and raw force. The result was thrilling acceleration, with 0 to 60 miles per hour arriving in only 7.4 seconds, and a top speed reaching 100 miles per hour, 154 miles per hour. For a car of its size, those numbers placed it among the kings of its time. What made it even more remarkable was that Chevrolet gave the Impala SS handling upgrades inspired by its police car cousins. Reinforced shocks, a sport-tuned suspension, and a stronger cooling system all worked together to create control and balance. Drivers could feel confident taking corners, and even though the car was large, it carried itself with surprising agility. It was not just about raw speed in a straight line. It was about delivering an experience that felt powerful and secure every single mile. The styling told its own story. Instead of bright colors, Chevrolet dressed the Impala SS only in black, which gave it a shadowy and commanding presence on the streets. Traditional Chevy badges were set aside, replaced by the iconic Impala emblem, a symbol that spoke volumes without needing to shout. Every detail made the car look purposeful, like it was built for something greater than just daily driving. Additionally, the cabin matched that same balance of performance and comfort. Wide seats offered space for everyone, while fine SS embossing reminded passengers they were riding in something special. It blended everyday usability with the feel of a high-performance machine, making it just as enjoyable for long trips as it was for quick bursts of speed. Number 3. 1993 Dodge Intrepid ES. The Dodge Intrepid ES is a machine built with Chrysler's bold cab-forward design. The idea was simple: push the wheels out to the corners, stretch the wheelbase long, shorten the rear, and suddenly the cabin became airy, spacious, and modern. The Intrepid looked like a dart ready to cut through the wind, with its pointed nose, wide stance, and a body that flowed smoothly from front to back. Open the doors, and the seats gave plenty of support for long drives, while gauges stood out clearly in black and white with a soft gray finish. Air vents sat high on the dash and pushed out 50% more air than before, keeping everyone cool. There were smart touches everywhere, from 4 sun visors to pop-out cup holders, and even a trip computer that added a high-tech feel. It was roomy enough to carry 5 passengers with ease, or even 6 if you went for the bench seat. The Intrepid ES did not stop at space and style. Power came from a 214 cubic inch V6 engine, with 24 valves and a single overhead cam design. It produced 214 horsepower and revved happily all the way to 6,300 revolutions per minute. That meant quick response, especially when paired with the automatic transmission that shifted smoothly at full throttle. 0 to 60 miles per hour took 8.6 seconds, while braking from 70 miles per hour stopped the car in just 180 feet. Handling was another highlight. The suspension kept the big sedan flat in corners, with little squat, dive, or roll. On the skid pad, it held at 0.81 G, edging out rivals. Steering felt light yet precise, while optional traction control added confidence during strong launches. The Intrepid ES combined agility with comfort in a way that few large sedans of its time could match. Number 2. 1998 Chrysler 300M. The Chrysler 300M of 1998 was built to stand tall against the strongest cars from Europe. Now, let's talk power. This car carried a 214 cubic inch V6 engine that made 253 horsepower. It also had 255 pound-feet of torque. The power went through a 4-speed automatic transmission, but drivers could also shift gears themselves with a system called Auto Stick. That meant you could cruise smoothly like a luxury car, or take control and drive it like a sports car. The design made people stare even when it was standing still. Its cab-forward style pushed the wheels out and gave the body a strong and aggressive stance. The short deck in the back made the car look fast and powerful. Unlike the long Chrysler Concorde, this one was about 10 inches shorter, which made it perfect for European roads, while keeping the same long wheelbase for space inside. Not to mention, the 300M felt like a mix of comfort and excitement. The front bucket seats were made for relaxation, while the wide rear bench easily fit 3 people. The black interior mixed with wood trims looked classy, while the white dials with green light gave it a sporty touch. The gauges were clear and stylish, reminding you this was no ordinary sedan. Even though the wide stance gave it stability, the strong suspension kept it smooth on highways while steady in corners. It was a front-wheel drive, but Chrysler made it feel special compared to anything else in its class. Even though the old Eagle Vision brand had faded away, the spirit lived on in this masterpiece, wearing the Chrysler badge. Number 1. 1991 Chevrolet Caprice 9C1 Police Package. In the end, in 1991, Chevrolet brought out a machine that carried a badge of honor, the Caprice 9C1 Police Package. At its core lived a 350 V8 engine known as the L05. It produced 205 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, numbers that gave it strength far beyond the average car of its time. The engine came with throttle body injection and a hydraulic roller camshaft, making sure the police version had extra muscle compared to regular Caprices. Not only this, the transmission was a 4-speed automatic, built tough enough to take years of pursuit driving. Paired with a limited slip differential and 3.42 gears, the Caprice 9C1 had the power to launch hard, slide confidently, and keep steady at high speeds. Officers trusted it because it did not just move, it commanded the road. Its body told the story of purpose. Rounded new sheet metal replaced the boxy lines of the past, making it more aerodynamic for highway duty. Inside, it carried a certified speedometer, a massive round map light, and reinforced seats, all designed for police work. Even the suspension and brakes were upgraded to handle long shifts and fast stops. This Caprice 9C1 was not only a patrol car, it was a legend of American streets. That's all for today. Tell us your favorite legendary car in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more awesome classic car stories.